Hi folks, the Filipina P here, and as promised, it's time to answer the questions from you foreigners who are having issues with us Filipinas and our weird habits. It can be difficult to date a woman from another culture, and sometimes it's hard to fit into a place where everything seems so different. But that's why I'm here, to explain the craziness and help you spot the landmines. Today we've got a Filipina whose jealousy is threatening her boyfriend's very sanity. A man who wonders what team his girlfriend is really playing for. And a guy who's puzzled by the item his Filipina puts between her legs at night. And her mom has one too. So our first email is from Tony, who's originally from Canada, but now lives in Manila. Tony writes, Hello P. I hope you can tell me if what I'm going through is normal, because it's not something I've ever dealt with before, at least not from a grown woman. I retired to the Philippines last August, and after a few months of living here, I started dating a woman who worked at the local mall. I don't know if this matters, but I'm 66 and she's 45, so it's not like she's a child. I saw many of your videos before I got here, so I already knew that Filipinas are incredibly jealous, but this situation is getting out of hand. When we first started going out together, everything seemed normal. She was very attentive, and we became a couple after a few weeks. I know that sounds fast, but that's the way it happens over here. Yep. We started seeing each other several times a week, and now we're living together. At this stage of my life, she's exactly what I'm looking for, and we have really good chemistry in almost every way. At least I thought so. The first sign of trouble was when we were watching a movie on TV that starred Gal Gadot, and all I said was that she was actually a pretty good actress. Judging by my girlfriend's reaction, you would have thought she just caught me cheating, because she instantly started accusing me of having a crush and asking me who I thought was prettier. It was like I was sitting next to an insane person. I tried to just laugh it off, but the smile on my face only made her more furious, and she wouldn't say a word to me for the rest of the night. The next day she acted like nothing weird happened, and when I tried to bring it up, she got mad all over again. As if that wasn't bad enough, she pouts every time I talk to my family members on the phone, and she shows absolutely no interest in any of my relationships, except the one with her. It's as if she's jealous of my own child. And it's not just my family, it's hers too. When we visit her folks, even her two sisters know they're forbidden from saying anything past hello before finding a different room to go to. Wherever we go, everyone seems tense, and it only relaxes when we're alone. Whenever I try to discuss things, she shuts the conversation down by going quiet, and if I push it, she gets angry. Except for the jealousy, I really enjoy her company, and I could see a future together, but not unless things change. So, is this behavior normal for a Filipina? And if so, how do other guys tolerate it? Does it ever get any better? Well, Tony, you're right about Filipinas being jealous. If you could only use one word to describe us, jealous would be a good pick. We know that a foreigner has a lot of choices and options, and although you guys might not know it, we realize that as long as you're in the Philippines, we're pretty easy to replace. That tends to make us insecure and very clingy, and we're always on the lookout for threats. Now, a normal amount of Filipina jealousy usually does get better with time, once we realize you're with us for the long haul. But this is some weapons-grade insecurity that goes way beyond simple jealousy. Now, I'm no psychologist, but one thing's for sure, she's got some serious control issues, like using that classic cult manipulation to isolate you from everyone but her, so she can keep you under her thumb. Now, the silent treatment, what we call tampo, is really kind of childish and pointless, but it's not unusual for a Filipina to use it every time you do something wrong. But in this case, She's using tampo to prevent you from talking about something that needs to be discussed, like a conversation ejection seat that gets her out of any uncomfortable topic. So who's in control here? Are you gonna let her decide who you can talk to and what you can talk about? You're giving her the power to run the show. But a woman doesn't respect a man who allows that. So letting this continue isn't a very good strategy. She's afraid of losing you or of losing control of you. So you gotta make her understand that what she's doing is gonna result in the very thing she fears. Now it's true you can't make someone talk, but you can make him listen to the consequences if they don't. So it's time to stand up and take the control back and tell her that you're just not gonna put up with it anymore. Or you could do what every person watching this video wants you to do and just get the hell out of Dodge. Why spend what could take years unraveling someone else's problems when you can just find someone new? It's not like there's a shortage of good Filipinas. Now, the reason I didn't say that from the beginning is because it depends on your devotion to this woman. And I know that no matter what other people think is obvious, sometimes when you're deep in the kiki, you can't see the forest for the trees. And if you decide you want to try to make this work, it's up to you. Anyway, Tony, I wish you the best of luck. And just keep one last thing in mind. You are the prize. So our next email is from Brandon in the USA. Brandon says, Miss P, I'm not exactly having a problem with my Filipina girlfriend, but I noticed something strange since I've been here that I thought you could explain. I've been seeing a young woman for a couple of months, and she seems to be completely straight. She never talks about being attracted to other women, but every time she's with her friend, they're constantly holding hands, even when they're walking around in public. When her friend comes over, they cuddle up on the couch together like lovers, and when she leaves, she kisses my girlfriend on the lips. Nothing passionate, but it's definitely full-on mouth-to-mouth. None of that bothers me, but when I ask her about it, she doesn't seem to think there's anything weird going on. I know that girls can be a lot more touchy-feely than guys, but do you think there's something she's not telling me? Well, Brandon, I can't speak for your girlfriend in particular because, of course, I don't know her, but what you described isn't considered all that bizarre in the Philippines. You didn't say how long you've been here, but I guarantee that if you keep your eyes open, you'll see a lot of behavior between friends that Westerners would consider gay. Even completely straight guys walk around in public with their arms around each other. And while they don't normally hold hands, Filipinas sure do. And it doesn't raise any eyebrows. Come to think of it, my friend and I still walk arm in arm when we go to the mall. And it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to kiss on the lips when we're saying goodbye. Westerners have this invisible barrier around them that marks their private space, and they can get uncomfortable when someone violates it. But Filipinos don't recognize those bubbles, and we pop them without a second thought, especially between friends. Even when it's a stranger, we don't make a big deal about someone getting too close. If you've ever ridden a crowded jeepney, you can expect someone to jam right up next to you, or even ask to sit on your lap. And when you're standing in line, sometimes people bump up against you without even apologizing. Now, this might sound weird for such a shy and sometimes overly formal culture, where you would never hug someone you just met, but we're full of contradictions, and it's something you just get used to. So don't worry too much about your girlfriend. She's just doing what Filipinos do. And now for the final email from Ken in the Netherlands. Ken writes, Dear P, perhaps you can solve a mystery for me. Oh, I hope so. My girlfriend and I were watching your last mailbag video together, and we had a great laugh about holding the lumber while you slumber. And it sparked up a conversation about other crazy nocturnal habits. We all know about the mosquito nets that Filipinos call mosquitero and what they're used for. But my girlfriend and her family use them in a different way. They wedge pieces of old mosquito nets between their knees and feet when they go to bed. And it's not to keep from getting stung. They say they just can't sleep without it. When a neighbor threw an old one away, my in-laws scurried out to save it from the trash. And they almost had a party to celebrate having found a broken mosquitero to stuff between their legs at night, even though it feels like a cat scratching post. My question is this normal? Have you ever heard of this before? Or is my Filipino family certifiably nuts? Hopefully you can shed some light between our sheets. Your friend, Ken. Okay, Ken, you're asking me to divulge a well-guarded Filipina secret. But since I'm all about telling you the truth, here goes. Putting a scratchy material between our legs at night is actually a cheap form of contraception like a chastity belt that we use to keep our husbands away when we're not in the mood. Just kidding. I'm afraid the real reason is a lot more boring. And the answer is really simple. We do it because it's comforting. Almost every Filipino grew up with mosquito netting draped over us from the time we were babies. So it's kind of like our security blanket. And even though it feels rough and scratchy to you, it somehow feels nice to us. It's more of a habit than anything else. I'll be interested to see how many other viewers have been confused by this rather unusual ritual. So let me know in the comment section. Well, I hope I was able to shine a light between your sheets. And if you ever want to make a viral video, I'll bring my camera next time. So that's it for this episode, and I'll be back on Tuesday with something that'll make you laugh. Till then, folks.
No matter what you do to me, Blabba, you'll never make me turn my back on my Western viewers. I'll always tell them the truth about the Philippines. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh. Okay guys, everything I've been telling you is a lie. Things are just perfect here in the Philippines. So Blabba, is that thing for real? Or you're just yanking my chain?